we go, man. We're back to work. It's Kentucky week. Our guys coming off the loss to Florida. Our guys are focused. We've been able to take a look at the film, see what we can do better, offensively, defensively, special teams, and these guys are ready for the challenge this week. Again, you got to shake it off real fast because it's always a sprint to Saturday in this conference. So, for us, man, we're going to make sure that we take care of the details, make sure that our guys are focused and ready to play. The game plans will be good. We need more production in all three phases. I thought we did a solid job last week defensively. Offensively, man, we took care of the football, and the special teams, we need to make more plays. So in doing so, I think this is a great opportunity for us going into the Kentucky game to be consistent, to be better, and let's take the lessons that we've learned and apply it towards this game. So I'll open it up.
Is it with special teams, is it more of a priority right now to make big plays or just prevent the errant plays, so to speak?
It's more about doing your job. When you talk about consistency and that's what you want. And we had a couple of opportunities on the big return that we saw. And we saw a couple of guys get out of their lanes. That's just about doing your job and being able to fit it the way you need to fit it. So, what it comes down to for us is that we just need to make sure that we are better, and we do a better job of controlling what we can control. And when it's all said and done, then we'll be able to, minimize the damage. But we got to be able to do that.
What did Zubike being back do for your defense Saturday?
Man, he did a great job. I thought Caleb, brought some energy. I thought he played well. He had a good week of practice, and we missed his experience. I think anytime you have a veteran guy that comes back, that understands the game the way Caleb does, and he brings experience and added value of just being in those games and having played in those games. And it was huge for us on Saturday.
With Tommy Openshaw, you've got a Norwood kicker now. What's the situation there exactly?
We'll figure it out. We're just making sure, man, that we hold everybody accountable. We continue to look for the best options at every position, and let's make sure we go play.
In terms of defense, you said we're built for that was the phrase you used after the game the other day.
Yeah.
When you look at your last few Stanford defenses in this one, it's the same, good at stopping the run, good in the red zone, good at third down. Your personnel's different. How is that you have the same attributes for the defenses?
They're different defenses, different personnel. That we were a much more veteran group there. Here, man, we're a young group. I think when you talk about the bones of it structurally are similar. The players are different. These guys have done a good job of just trying to establish their own identity. And I think as they continue to play hard, whether it's red zone, whether it's third down, whether it's trying to improve ourselves in pass defense, this group will continue to ascend and do some great things. But right now, we're just trying to find a way to be good and consistent. And so far, man, these guys are just trying to stay right in that zone. And we can do that again. I think these guys will be able to do something special that they can build on.
Derek, you've obviously coached Johnny to be very careful with the ball. We've seen that. We saw that on Saturday. When he's not throwing the ball, is it a case of he's being overcautious, or they're just not guys open from what you're seeing?
It's a little bit of both. I think what happens is that you're trying to establish a rhythm. I thought Johnny, looked to get the ball out to those guys early. And what happens is, man, we did a good job of running the football. You want the balance between the run and pass. I think guys got to make a couple of plays for him, but I also think man, he's got to be able to, stay in there, make sure that he continues to go through the progression, and when there's an opportunity, man, get it in there. But for the most part, man, we didn't turn the ball over. And again, I'll say it again, if we don't turn the ball over, I think we got a chance to beat anybody we play.
What can you try different offensively to try to give you guys a spark there?
We're trying a lot of things differently right now. Man, we focused on, in a couple of different things. I'm not going to talk about those. You'll see them on Saturday. But I think we made a step in the right direction when you talk about taking care of the football. It all starts with taking care of the football, and then I think what you can do from there is figure out exactly what you need to do, man, to make sure that you get, guys touches and get guys into the game. Again, I thought we ran the ball well, but there's got to be a balance between run and pass, and that balance is what will allow us to extend drives and put points on the board.
Derek, you talk about having things that you haven't shown yet. You've said that a few weeks, we haven't seen it yet, but you also played teams I think were number 2 and 3 in the country in turnover margin.
That's right.
How much of that is just having to be careful?
I believe what you're trying to do initially is get a feel for the game and just trying to establish a rhythm. You know, we ran the ball. We said that we were going to, you know, attempt to run the ball. We just needed some balance in the pass game. So again, when we got behind the chains on a couple of drives with penalties and or just getting behind the chains, you know, it becomes a little more difficult when to dig into that a little bit. But also, I believe guys got to create some separation to make some plays. You know, and I'll say it again, we're all tasked. You know, when we're doing something that's a little tough at times. You sort of have to move the stress around. Sometimes it's on the tight end, sometimes it's on the wideouts, sometimes it's on the secondary, sometimes it's on the linebackers. Everybody's got a hard job at some point in time. So, you know, we're just going to continue to move it around. Somebody's got to win. You know, I can't just say, hey, the D-line stopped the run, but secondary, you can give up all the passes you want to. You know, I mean, that's not the way we work. Everybody's got a little stress, and then sometimes somebody's got to do a tough job and make a play for us. And when you make a play, good things happen.
Kyle was the emergency guy the other day. Is he fully available for game day this
He's
time?
fully available. He's ready to go, and you know we'll you know, continue to look at these guys as we're going through the week of practice. But you know they look good. They look good today. We had a couple of competitive drills. We were able to get some live active work, and they look good. So we'll see what that takes us to tomorrow.
Kyle's played in games, but obviously not a ton. Getting more reps now as a guy that is going to play on Saturdays, have you seen a value in that? Has he grown just from practice, first and second team reps?
And he has grown. We get after him. We try to bring as much pressure as we can. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, anybody can sit back there and throw 7-on-7. It's what you do when you have, you know, guys staring down the barrel at you. And that really decides, you know, how you move your feet. Can you extend the play? You know, do you make the right decision? Do you get it checked? All those things are the things that we're trying to push and promote, you know, for our quarterbacks, trying to make sure that we can put them in as many game-like situations as we can so that, you know, when the game starts to slow down and these guys can play a little faster.
Coach, you guys had several illegal I'm just wondering what caused that.
And I think, just trying to get to some different movements, you know, with some jumps, some motions, some shifts, and, you know, guys just not being focused. Okay, but they're not being careful about, you know, and how they align. A couple of times we had a couple of tackles off the line of scrimmage. In special teams, we had a couple of missed alignments by guys outside. And again, that's just details and focus. And so you stress those things, you talk about it, but more than that, man, we have to continue to be diligent in practice about, you know, how we manage and how we see those things so that we call them in practice. So if it is a problem, it doesn't manifest itself on game day.
Do you guys have referees in practice sometimes?
I mean, we did earlier in the season, but we have not since midway through the season. But I mean, it's something that I talked about with my coaching staff on Sunday because I feel like, you know, what you do in practice is what you do in games. And if we're not catching it, you know, in practice, well then it's gonna show up in games, and that's costly.
It's no secret Ralph Webb runs hard. He's also not the biggest guy in the world. How is he pretty effective at sort of wearing down defenses, or is he more consistent in terms of beating on them throughout the game?
You know what, Ralph's been consistent. I think, you know, he's put on 9 pounds. You know, I think in that, you know, what you've been able to see is that he's gotten stronger as games have gone on, you know, with his ability to run. He's played well. His last 3 games have been a nice stretch for him. He just needs to continue to do what he's doing. I think he practices hard, and I think that's the bigger part of what we need all our guys to do. It's all about how you practice. How you practice is how you play. You know, you frame it up, you tee it up, and then when game time comes, it's no surprise, you know, in terms of how you work and what you do because you've already done it fast and you've been able to mentally, you know, absorb exactly what you need to see in order to, you know, make the cuts, you know, do whatever you need to do, pass pro, whatever it may be.
How important is he right now in sort of helping that offense establish its own identity at this point?
He's important. He's important. Darius Sims, you know, is important. Darius didn't have, you know, as big a game, but I believe, you know, what happens is, you know, Andy's starting to get a feel for, you know, these guys and what they can do. Both of those guys bring different things to the table. Josh Crawford is another back that I believe, you know, has some, you know, tremendous upside for a young guy. So, you know, the running back position I think is pretty, you know, strong. They're different guys with different, you know, tools in their toolbox, but, you know, what they do bring to the table is that they love to compete and they compete every day in practice.
You forced, your defense has forced 6 fumbles in the last 2 weeks, recovered 5 of those. Is it, usually we think of fumbles coming early in the season when guys are loose with the ball and all that. Mm-hmm. How is it your guys are forcing those later in the year?
I think you get what you emphasize. We went through the beginning part of the season, where, you know, we talked about effort to the ball. We talked about being able to make sure that we, you know, tackled well. We played with great leverage. But, you know, in some of that, what probably got missed was you know, just the ability and the seam and exactly what other teams are putting on tape. We played some ball teams, man, that have shown that they'll flag the football. And so it's been a constant point of emphasis over the last 3 weeks, and to really make sure that we try to put our hats on the ball. And you become a better tackling football team when you're getting 11 hats to the ball. I think when you watch this team play over the last couple of weeks, what you've been able to see is hats to the ball. We need to have it more often, more consistently throughout games. But I think anytime you do that, and you get an opportunity for balls to be on the ground.
So specifically, you've seen on film this guy's a little loose with the ball on the sideline or in traffic or something like that. You can see that specifically.
All runners are loose with the ball at some point in time. What you have to do is be consistent about how you hammer away at the ball. We talk about ball searching opportunities. We practice that way. We actually utilize fundamental rotation, which is, you know, a period for us where we go through about a 4-circuit period of just looking at different things. Is it tackling? Is it ball search opportunities? You know, whatever it may be that show up for us that week consistently, we need to be able to you know, really work into and make sure that we, you know, focus on those things. And those things have been the things that we've seen show up defensively for us. So we're trying to scratch where it itches.
What concerns you most about Kentucky's offense?
Tolles. I mean, when I look at him, obviously getting Boom back is huge for them. Boom is dynamic in terms of what he does because he's able to give them a run presence that allows them to be balanced in what they do. Very much like Ralph, a little bigger, maybe you know, same speed, but you know, extremely shifty in space. So he gives you some problems. But Tolles, in my opinion, has a big arm. He can extend the play. He can make all the throws, the long out, the deep throw, the comeback, and he has a nice variety of balls that he can throw. And for us, it's going to be huge that we try to find ways to get him off the spot. We just can't let him sit back there and chuck it around. And we're going to do some different things to try to get him off the spot.
I mean, our defense, what about Kentucky's defense? What concerns you there?
We're similar defenses. You know, I love what Coach Stoops brings to the table. I mean, he's a defensive-minded guy. We've been able to look at our defenses. They're very much you know, complementary of each other. I mean, there are 3-4 defenses in structure. We run a lot of the same calls. We do a lot of the same things. So it's interesting, you know, what they do because they can apply pressure. They're secondary. At times, it's been really opportunistic. They tackle well up front in the front seven, and they do a great job of, you know, again, providing pressure, whether it's run or pass. So they're going to challenge us. That's why I said for us, we've been able to give our guys some pressure starting today to really make sure that these guys understand exactly what they're going to see on game day.
In the type of games that y'all have had, field position has played really big in the wins and the losses. Is there a value into the offense if they're not going to score to get some first downs to move the ball to flip field position?
Absolutely. I believe, you know, when you're playing games like this in this conference, field's got to get flipped. You know, we're playing tight games, and you know, anytime you have an opportunity to flip the field, it gives you a chance to, you know, hopefully play for field position. Because as we see, sometimes games in this conference come down to field goals.
Last one, guys.
Coach, just curious, you know, with the offensive struggles all year, what's it like when you and Coach Love would get together at the beginning of each game week and kind of sit there and figure out, all right, what are we going to do this week to try to mask the deficiencies and maximize what we do?
You know, for Coach Love, you got to understand, first of all, you know, it's probably the first time in his career that he's gone through this, and it's managing the personnel and finding ways with the ever-changing personnel to make sure that you can get the right guys on the field and try to get guys touches. You know, this week I thought Andy did a great job of just, you know, saying to the unit what we needed to do and making sure that we held to that. You know, most of that game, we took care of the football. You know, I mean, that's the most important thing. Man, you can't find any consistency if you can't stay on the field or if you can't take care of the football. So when he did that, we both have had to make sure that we keep each other up because that's what you do. And we're both, you know, winning personalities. We look to try to put our guys in the best possible position to make plays. And you know, I mean, you try not to get frustrated by you know, when the things that are going on around you. But what you have to do is understand that every week has got to be, you know, rebuilt. You got to push the reboot button, and I'm glad that me and Andy both have each other, because, you know, we can keep each other even keeled about how we process.
All right, thank you guys.
You got it.
Appreciate